It's becoming more and more clear to me how important it was for me to do this skit. I haven't really touched on motherhood on this page. We hear more about the toxic mother-in-law or the mom that tries to control the wedding, not the freshly postpartum mom and what she goes through. So as I mentioned yesterday, I worked for a mom and baby company for 6 years, and most of that was before becoming a mom myself. Over those 6 years, I learned so much. I was researching every single day. I was running the social media channels, YouTube, I had a podcast, and I had a Facebook group of over 50,000 moms. On this podcast, I would interview all kinds of experts related to motherhood. So labor and delivery, postpartum, C-section births, breastfeeding, so many different topics. And it was so important for me to just understand, ask questions, and just share the information. One thing that became so prevalent to me during this time was that telling your story matters. I think truly this is where my love for storytelling came, is because I heard so many different women's stories. You could have person A right here, person B right here. Maybe they look exactly the same, but they have completely different birth stories. They have completely different postpartum stories. They have completely different families. And I think it's so important to see that every story is different and every story matters. As our social media channels started to grow and more people started to listen to the podcast, we realized how important the topic of motherhood really was. Something that I truly love about this generation is how open we are about sharing our own experiences. Many women in the generation above me and the generation above that could not share their own experience. They were pushed into a corner, told, this is what you have to do, suck it up, take care of the kids, you're fine, and just deal with it. Many women suffered in silence. It didn't matter if they had postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. They could not talk to anybody. They couldn't share what they were experiencing because they were told, that's your job. So yes, many survived, but many didn't. Or the ones that did survive didn't survive mentally and were struggling the entire time. And they grew this resentment and hate towards themselves or their partners or maybe even their kids. And they were told that they were bad people if they felt certain ways because they couldn't express how they were actually feeling and they didn't have a community to talk to. So because of learning all this and working at that company and knowing so many amazing moms myself, I will always stand up for the mom and I will always be listening ear to the mom, because you never know what that person is going through. And just sometimes a listening ear or having someone in their community can make a world of a difference. So again, we are learning how important a woman's postpartum experience is. So not only does better support in postpartum lead to a quicker recovery time and a better mental space for moms, in the long run, it is directly linked to lower risk of postpartum anxiety and depression. There are so many studies that say the mom's happiness is directly correlated into the child's life. So don't you think if we all worked to support postpartum moms a little bit better and allow that time for them to bond with the baby and recuperate while everything else kind of gets done, don't you think they'd all have a better experience?